Okay, so this week I'm going to try and push Ilford Delta 3200 speed film 5 stops to 51,200. Why? Because I want to waste $13. Now some of you might be sitting there saying, well, hold on, that's not 5 stops, that's 4 stops, right? 3,200 to 51,200, that's 4 stops. And you would be correct if we were working with a 3,200 speed film. So actually, yeah, Ilford Delta 3,200 speed film is not actually 3,200 speed film. The actual speed of the film is 1,000. And most people just refer to it as 1,600 speed film for the sake of just being easier on numbers. Yeah, it's not an actual 3,200 speed film. So basically when you get this film, Ilford is labeling it as a 3,200 speed film as far as the box speed goes, and they're essentially just telling you, hey, you know, this is a 1,600 speed film or 1,000 speed film or whatever, but we're telling you to push it to 3,200 because you still get great results and you can shoot a bit faster. And I think it's just a better selling point. You know, faster film, obviously you're gonna have a better selling point from that, but the film itself has a really great range for exposure latitude from 400 to 800, 1600, 3200, and even 6400. You're going to get great results in any of those exposure ranges. I see a lot of people talking on the internet saying that it's just not possible to push it that far. You're gonna lose all the detail in your shadows, you're gonna come up with terrible grain, it's just gonna look awful. But I haven't seen anybody try developing it in HC110, which is my personal favorite black and white developer. I should also note that I did a roll of HP5 earlier in the year at 12,800, which is 5 stop difference, and that was shot on 35mm, and I processed it for 2 hours in HC110, and I got what I think are fantastic results. I think these look great. I mean, the grain looks nice, the light looks nice. It's just, the contrast is good. Everything about these is good to me. Now, I know this is a totally different film. I know it can be pushed pretty far, even as far as like 25,600. So why not an extra stop from there? I mean, if it can be pushed that far, it should be able to be pushed at least 1 more stop and do pretty well. Like I said, I'm stubborn and I'm going to try. Going from 1600, so that's 1600, which is 1/5 of a second, or it thinks it should be 1/5 of a second if it's at 2.8. So then if you did the math in your head, you'd add the number to itself 5 times, right? So like 5 to then 10, 20, 40, 80, and then 160. All right, one shot. Maybe I'll shoot this. I'll do 1/500th because I'm gonna go for the shadows. Between the shadows and the highlights, I think that's a good idea. I can't like turn around. Oh my God, a bug just hit me in the fucking head. Here, this is a cool shot. And it's not too dark. It's like, it's light, so I should have like a pretty good exposure. And I could probably shoot at like 5.6 1/8. So like 16, 32, 64, let's say like just 120, 240. So like 250-ish. I'll just try 250 and we'll just see how that goes. I could probably even, that'd be too glary over there. This looks kind of cool, this door between these, like, if I got some of these leaves in the front. I just handheld shot that at 2/50th of a second. I didn't bring my tripod at all because that's kind of the point, you know? I mean, I'm shooting at 51,200, so like, if it works, it works. This is nice, this has like nice shadows. If I went to 2.8, I could shoot that even faster. And like, it's pretty dark here. These stairs look nice. I'll shoot these stairs. This looks kind of cool. I've shot like all vertical shots so far. So maybe I should shoot a horizontal shot. I was scared for a second. I almost thought I didn't take the dark slide. out of the body. All right, let's see. We'll do 125. Yep, that's the roll. So for the Delta 3200, I looked at Ilford's spec sheet and I checked massive dev chart. They're actually the same numbers on both. I think someone actually just took numbers from Ilford's chart itself and probably put them on massive dev chart. What it seems like is that every stop increase on Delta 3200, you're pretty much adding 60 to 62% of the previous time to that time. So at 1600 with dilution A, it's about 5 minutes. At 3200, dilution A is about 8 minutes. 6400, dilution A is about 13 minutes, and so on and so on. So given this information that was available up to 6400, I just decided to take a shot in the dark. Okay, you can unsubscribe from me for that. No, anyway, I just decided to keep adding on to it like that, 60% or so increase from the previous time. So anyway, at 12,800, I had 21 minutes, and at 25,600, I had 34 minutes, and at 51,200, I had 55 minutes. These are all with dilution A using HC110. So yeah, in this case, it would give me a development time of about 55 minutes. But since this is such an extreme case of pushing, I'm going to add a little bit more onto that 55 minutes. I will also add that I'm shooting this on 120 film, which just in itself will yield a much finer grain than if I were shooting it on 35 millimeter. And if it doesn't work, then I guess I just wasted $13 and a big chunk of my life that I'll never get back. So the way that I'm gonna develop it is I'm going to use dilution A with HC110, and I'm going to put it in stand development for about 70 to 80 minutes. I'll agitate it for probably the first 45 to 60 seconds. I'll agitate it and then I'll just let it sit, and then I'll come back to it at maybe about the halfway mark and I'll agitate it again, and then I'll let it sit again. So in general, Ilford Delta 3200 should be fixed a little bit longer than other films. I'll probably fix it anywhere between, I don't know, 7 and 10 minutes, and we'll just see how it goes. So I have the film loaded into the tank. Obviously I couldn't show that on video because it's in complete darkness. What I do is I use these little measuring spoons, which I really need to get new ones. These are getting rusty. But yeah, I measure the chemistry out using these measuring spoons, and I put them in these Pyrex glasses, pitchers, I don't know, measurement instruments. Since I did 120 film, I am going to do 500 milliliters. I do use a stop bath. I know some people say, oh, you can just, you know, use water instead of a stop bath. The problem with that is then you risk some of the chemistry possibly mixing. What the stop bath does is it neutralizes it right away. So you won't have any problem with the developer going over into the fixer. Some people like to use a form of purified water, but I just use water from the sink. So I'm not going to do a rinse with this film. Some films you need to rinse, or it's suggested that you rinse them, but I'm not going to do a rinse with this. And so this is right about where I want to be, right around the 475 mark. That's what I go for. Then I just add the additional developer, the 31 milliliters of developer, or I should say developer concentrate. First of all, put gloves on. And we'll hope for the best. So after about 95 minutes, I added a little bit of time to it. Let's hope that something came about with this. And in fact, I'm just gonna take this glove off because it's ripped anyway. Hopefully not rip these ones because, oh no. I'm just wasting gloves today. This is just my thing. Let's see. Oh, I see images. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. I'm gonna hang it up to dry. I got my little Tom Nook. He's my weight. So I'm guessing the next question would be, would I do this again? And the answer to that would be probably not. Because honestly, I feel that it was just more so a waste of money on film and time spent processing that film. Not only that, but if you're looking to actually go out and get shots that you really truly care about, it's just not gonna be a good idea to do something like this. So yeah, ultimately, I would say if you're looking to just experiment and have fun, then by all means, it is a fun little project, and I would say go for it, and maybe you'll be able to get better results. There's lots of variables with film, so you could possibly get way better results than I did. And if anybody out there does try it, I would love to see the results that you get. So, God, I love sweet tea so much. So, yeah.